Lorraine D'Alessio, welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today.
It is a pleasure to be with you. You have a tremendous background. I'm super excited to have a really fun conversation. And this is one we've been preparing for a long time. I'm excited to finally have the chance to meet you and to have a chance to chat with you as we're preparing for the episode. Today, we're going to be exploring your journey in starting and building a world-class business in a male-dominated field. Now, for anyone watching, you can see that Lorraine is a lovely female, powerful female. If you're listening, you might be able to hear that as well. And Lorraine, you've done some tremendous things in building your businesses and pivoting over time in a variety of ways, all of that in male-dominated fields, which is never an easy thing. It's hard in any business, in any kind of circumstance to be successful, but certainly in this kind of a male-dominated world, where gendered inequities and sexism is paramount and is always there, and you always have to deal with it. So I'm super excited to be able to explore this with you, and appreciate your willingness to delve into this topic with me today. As we get started, I wanted to share Lorraine's bio with everyone. CEO and founder of D'Alessio Law Group, Lorraine D'Alessio was named the 2017 Leader in Law by the Los Angeles Business Journal and recipient of the 2018 Enterprising Woman Award. Lorraine is a former Ford model turned legal powerhouse and award-winning immigrant or immigration expert. Lorraine serves on the board for Artists for Change and has provided counsel to hundreds of prominent entertainment agencies, unions, private companies, academic institutions, tech startups, entrepreneurs, and enterprises, including Next Models, Food Network, SubPac, Pepperdine University, ACTRA, New York Film Academy, Plug and Play, Expert Dojo, and 500 startups in Fortune 500 startups. In addition to these clients, Lorraine has worked on highly successful refugee and deportation cases, earning awards for her work with immigration and immigrant communities across Los Angeles. Lorraine earned her law degree from Southwestern Law School and is originally from Toronto. Again, wonderful to have you. Anything else you would like to share with listeners by way of your background or personal context before we dive on in further?
I would say that what has made us quite unique in terms of serving the needs of so many that are businesses as well as individuals that are coming to the U.S., getting set up, has been that very unique one-on-one needs-based, attention-based care that we have, and I think that has helped to set us apart, from other firms that do similar type work, out of the box creative thinking, because especially now with the age of COVID, which hopefully is coming to an end, navigating any sort of new beginnings, innovations, launching products is coming with also new challenges that we didn't have previously, that we didn't face previously. So I would say that those trust confidences with our clients have been there, and the success along with it. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And maybe you can just start us off with the conversation by sharing a little bit about your journey and path. Now, you've kind of done a variety of things over time. How did you make the transition, for example, from modeling to get into the law profession, and you're incredibly accomplished in the law profession in and of itself, but you're also doing other things in relation to being a sports agent with the WNBA, and just so many fascinating things. Tell us a little bit about your path, your journey, and why you decided to try to tackle these sorts of things throughout your career.
Yeah, certainly. I'd say that for me, coming out of law school, I did have a taste of what it was like to work in a bigger law firm that had many male partners, and got a chance to see what that would be like, and going through that kind of partnership track. And although I think that that's a path that some choose to take, I just saw many barriers in that, and felt that I would be spending years and years and years trying to get through all that bureaucracy. Meanwhile, there's such an important message to give. So my years in the entertainment industry, a whole career really in fashion, and all of the contacts I had internationally as I traveled as a fashion model representing Ford models, as well as mother agents around the world. I already had a client base right there, and starting in the fashion and entertainment business. So I didn't feel that I was the same sort of cookie cutter mold that comes out of law school. And also actually was another career I also had in government. So I understood, I was a campaign manager, campaign assistant manager, sorry, for a group that actually got elected in Canada, and since went on to, during the time I was also balancing my modeling career to see what it was like in the legislative, and then also the government bureaucracy side on the in one of the ministries in Canada. And as a result, I had also other contacts in the government. So I really had a lot of experience of dealing with a guy really with the badge and the gun as I go through the borders, and I already had that familiarity. I already knew that there were many issues and needs around that. So so what I did was simply just translate that experience to, I know that there are people out there that need these trust relationships, that need to know that there's an advocate behind them, so they can come into this, to whatever country it may be, and our focus has been US and Canada, to do their job, to get to execute on their work. And having to kind of navigate all these other processes may or may not be something that they're comfortable with, and usually it's not. And this is something specifically that usually a lawyer helps out with. So it all sort of started from that, and it was really about putting together the right A team. And I found that a lot with women, other women lawyers, executives, executives that turned out to be our clients, and then women, other female amazing powerhouses that then became my lawyer colleagues on my team. And there also are some men that work with us too, but supportive of that female journey that you often find that started out really in fashion, and then sort of spread out to sports and e-gaming, influencing work, as well as film, television, and really a lot of other industries as well. So so I would say that what helped a lot with my background was I had already a network of contacts that I knew desperately needed these services. And from when I was in law school, even, I was connecting and putting together a great team, so that when we came out of all of that great schooling, and then I had a wonderful mentor who I really learned the ropes from, and that actually came into the firm and worked with us until he eventually, unfortunately, he was an elderly man, so eventually passed away. But he actually helped all of us learn much of the ropes. So we took a little bit of a different route than what was typically taken from that sort of cookie cutter approach when you graduate law school. But at the same time, I think it was the right way to go, because we assembled a team that's now nearly 60 people, that is quite dynamic and very strong. Since we've been together, many of us have been together for obviously many years, over a decade. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, it's interesting. So you end up, first of all, again, you have a really interesting kind of path with a variety of different experiences, all which help to inform how you carry out your work now. And I think that's wonderful. The reality is very few of us have a perfectly linear path or we decide, from the very beginning what exactly we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and then you do it, right? Very few of us do that. And we explore, we try different things, and all of those experiences then inform how we move into the future, into future opportunities, and how we lead in those opportunities. And so I'm hearing all of that coming from your story and from your experiences. And it's really interesting to me how you chose to get off of the kind of the traditional corporate law partner track, right? Which is the common track most people take.
Yes.
And you made the decision to go your own way. And that's a scary thought, I imagine. Entrepreneurship is scary, and starting your own firm and trying to help it to be successful is scary. But one of the things I took away from what you were just sharing is that you were laying the groundwork for your success long before you found yourself in the position to start your own firm. You were building relationships, connections, networks, partnerships. Like, all of these things were happening far in advance, that then created the potential, the opportunity for you then to start a successful business.
Yes, absolutely. And very much mapped out. And also knowing how to stay in touch and keep those conversations going up until the launch of the law firm. So, special conversations, very honed speaking opportunities that I had leading up to it, which was important as we identified, what we're going to be like the first roster of clients that we were going to work with, which actually started out to be about 6 clients, but very known, named, great clients that typically, for a law firm, owner who's just starting out, they may not have that level of quality of client right out the gate. So, but we picked them strategically for sort of representation of different industries that when we were going to represent as we continue to grow the law firm. So yeah, well, thank you. And I think it took staying positive and also learning how to take on a leadership role, and that those are not always things that are taught actually for females. I would say growing up, it's not always to take on that sort of aggressive personality often you need to have in that role, and put those tools in your toolbox that you need to have there to succeed in keeping your team together. So I think that's actually maybe some commentary for our schools and universities and our our education system when it comes to women is I know we have programs for MBA. I have an MBA degree myself, but it starts out when you're young too, when you're very, very young, and those ideas and those notions. And it's not just for the very, very top of the firm. It also can be at all the levels as we put strategic managers and leaders into position, because all of that structure, all of that reporting structure, all of that together keeps everything together and tight. So it's never going to be, I think, about just one person. It's going to be about that whole ecosystem working together. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And I would love to learn more about some of the gendered challenges that you've faced over the years. Now, again, being, building a world-class business in a male-dominated field is no easy task for anybody. Building a successful business in and of itself isn't an easy task, but doing it as a woman in a male-dominated field, where you run into sexism and the gender disparities and inequities on a daily basis, I would imagine. Tell us a little bit more about some of those challenges you faced and how you've worked to overcome them.
So I would say that going back, so I mean, I could maybe give a couple of examples too that might help, but I think one of the challenges there is, I know it seems very pedestrian, but being treated being taken seriously. Being taken seriously, bringing forward, even though you can have all the credentials, all the education, the experience, great cases underneath your belt, great accomplishments. I have definitely entered introductions in specific rooms where, as a woman, and maybe even if I may go so far as saying as an attractive woman, the male counterpart can sometimes not, they may have competing interests in that conversation. And so I would say just being very, very careful about how you enter into that conversation, bringing it back to the subject matter, because that may come up quite a bit, and it could be something that you just perhaps want to accept, but at the same time, it's also how you, with wit and strategy, take it back to what it is 100%, which is obviously business. And that can be quite challenging, and almost, for some, they may be insulted by it. For me, I'm not really. It's just, I feel like it's just something that is out there, and obviously it's been there for long periods of time, and has been used often to suppress women from excelling and doing well. And so I think really leaning on those trust networks in order to reinforce the message of the firm, reinforce the message and the voice that you have in the conversation, going back to very, very important achievements and successes that you've had. But definitely it takes some wit and some smartness in the conversation there to navigate through when that does occur. And then there's going to just be those that you decide to just cut out of the network, that are just going to be poisonous and toxic and have agendas to really push you down, and not taking seriously, not taking you seriously, and really will not get there. And you just have to accept that, and as tough as it is, and move on, because there are plenty opportunities. It's been really great for me to network and really link arms with other strong female business women, entrepreneurs, and especially women within my own organization, as we tackle some of these experiences, and also as we open up new doors together. And I have been really, sorry, I'm a believer. So I've always been amazed at, when one door closes, another one opens, or maybe three others open. And so that sort of gender inequality and some of the sexism out there can get very, very depressing and discouraging. But at the same time, for me, at least in my life, and I've been so fortunate, there's always been another door opening or another opportunity. And just recently, our firm has had just a wonderful opportunity to really expand. We were at Milan Fashion Week. We were there representing one of America's now great couture fashion designers, Glaudy, who's dressing top celebrities, everyone from Serena Williams to Ava Longoria, and the list is going on and on and on. She's this. All the kind of the top starlets coming out with the premieres, they are wearing her stuff, and we are her lawyers, we are her legal team. So we do the business law side as well as the immigration. But again, this was a door that opened from a wonderful women's organization that saw the need to put us both on an introduction and a panel together. And the next thing you know, another door is open.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great. So what I'm hearing, I mean, there's many great things that you just shared, but building your network not only helps in business generally, but as women in a male dominated field, you need a network of women supporting and helping each other to find success. And what I also am hearing from what you're saying is you're always keeping your eyes open for future opportunities based on what, the current circumstances. And so
Right.
one thing that may be completely disconnected from anything you're doing today, but can potentially open the door or crack that door open for a future opportunity. Those are the types of things we can't afford to let slip by. Like, you got to stay on top of those things. You have to explore those things, and you have to, keep good people around you so you have the capacity, in the bandwidth to be able to explore those things. I think all of that is just tremendous.
Absolutely, absolutely. And those champions, maybe in your organization or other seniors that are outside of your organization as well, but that are that you're checking in with, on a weekly or biweekly or monthly basis, and just have their eye out for you. There's a few women that are much more senior than I, that are lawyers, that have either already run their law firms, or they are in a big law firm at a very high level, and or a medium-sized firm, and just have influence and have their eye out for D'Alessio Law Group. And they strategically send, like this morning, I just got an introduction to a wonderful client who's coming in to make a multi-million-dollar investment. I mean, obviously that client could have been sent to a lot of other law firms. However, we were chosen also because of the gender makeup and the identity of this particular investor. And the multifaceted interest that they have. So it is a lot of relationships to be keeping up, but at the same time, it is really wonderful when it all comes together. So all the hard work. And I really had the honor of meeting Erin Brockovich a few years ago, and she was really impressed. At the time, she was very impressed with our firm because we got over a very difficult partner breakup, and that happens. That happens in life. Unfortunately, you try it, may not work out. And what she said to me was, she said, I'm really impressed with what you guys have achieved and where you've gone, even since that happened, since that, didn't work out. And she was providing, coaching to an organization that I was also a part of. And she said, the one thing I will have to say that you ladies need to keep doing is just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. Do not give up. Even though it may not make any sense, and you may wonder what, goodness, there's been so many challenges, what's the point, or why, maybe I should just, maybe I should just accept that at times I feel that I'm just running in circles, but it will make sense. And with a plan, it will make sense. So plan it out and keep pushing. And that's certainly what
Yeah.
what we're doing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Lorraine, it has just been a pleasure. I know at the time I'm going to have to let you go here in just a moment, but before we wrap up for today, I just wanted to give you a chance to share with listeners how they can connect with you, find out more about your work, your firm, and then give us a final word on the topic for today.
Okay, great. Absolutely. So yes, my final word, for message really, for all the, female professionals out there that are pushing and striving toward their goals, is to keep going, and knowing that there are wonderful opportunities out there. You just have to ask. And if you're not asking that question, then it may not just obviously fall on your lap. You need to make that first step and be that go-getter and go for it. So, and D'Alessio Law Group is really at your disposal to help. And we're a group of very dynamic, accomplished women that are not just here, obviously, to provide legal advice and expertise, but to also be a support to other women and entrepreneurs, period. And those that are individuals seeking to move and shake in their respective industries. And so you can reach us on our website, www.dalessiolawgroup.com or dlgimmigration.com, DALESSAO lawgroup.com. And I really just want to thank you again for having us on your show today. It's been a true honor and a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure. I encourage listeners to reach out, get connected, find out more about what Lorraine and her team can do for you. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great week.